Look at this. That's something.
It started with rain. Nothing out of the ordinary, just a gray sky, a drizzle, then steady showers. But by the time most people realized what was happening, it was already too late. From late June into the first days of July 2025, communities across central Pennsylvania and northern Virginia faced a nightmare, a violent flood event that no one saw coming and no one will forget. Fueled by a stalled cold front and thick, moisture-heavy air dragged up from the Gulf of Mexico, storms parked over the region. Within just 18 hours, some towns received over 3 inches of rainfall, most of it falling in intense, relentless bursts. What followed was chaos. Water surged through storm drains and overflowed from rivers and creeks already full from previous storms. Whole streets disappeared under the flood. Cars floated like paper boats. Thousands of homes lost power. Roads became rivers. Families were forced to flee in the dark, guided only by the piercing red and blue of emergency lights. For many, there was no warning, no time to prepare. Flash floods struck with merciless speed, revealing just how vulnerable these communities were. Emergency crews raced through the night to rescue trapped residents, battling currents and collapsed infrastructure. In Pennsylvania, the worst-hit areas included Lancaster, Cumberland, Lebanon, Franklin, and Perry counties. In Manheim Township, streets like South Main and Stagel vanished beneath the torrent. Neighborhoods were cut off for hours, some entirely surrounded by water. Rescue teams scrambled to respond to frantic calls. People were pulled from windows, rooftops, and stranded vehicles. The National Weather Service issued rare flash flood emergencies, urging residents to shelter or evacuate immediately. But with roads underwater and power lines down, many had nowhere to go. Farther west in Pittsburgh and surrounding areas, the damage was just as devastating. Freeport Road and major stretches of Mifflin Road turned into fast-moving rivers. Entire blocks were without power. Carly and nearby towns were plunged into darkness, their homes soaked and battered. In the midst of the chaos, local authorities reminded residents, even 6 inches of water is enough to carry a vehicle. Yet many, caught off guard or desperate to find safety, took those chances anyway. As the storm system drifted south, northern Virginia became the next target. Thunderstorms rolled through counties near the Potomac River, pouring down with such force that drainage systems stood no chance. Roads buckled. Families had to be evacuated. Some homes, recently repaired from past floods, were torn apart again by water. Officials declared states of emergency. Utility companies worked round the clock, often risking their own safety, trying to restore service while lightning cracked overhead and roads crumbled beneath their feet. Hydrologists pointed to a cruel combination of natural and man-made factors. The rain had nowhere to go. Soils, already saturated from storms earlier in the month, couldn't absorb another drop. Paved surfaces, dense housing, and aging drainage systems only made it worse. There was no buffer, no protection. And when the water came, it came all at once, fast, angry, and unforgiving. In some places, it rose so quickly that residents barely had time to grab their pets, a bag, or their children before heading for higher ground. In the aftermath, shelters opened across both states. Entire neighborhoods were displaced. Volunteers arrived with food, blankets, and open arms. Many had lost everything: furniture, photographs, memories, all swept away in a matter of hours. Emergency workers remained on the ground, conducting rescues, clearing debris, fixing down power lines. Their efforts, heroic and tireless, kept the situation from spiraling even further. Local communities rose up together, offering help, homes, and hope. But recovery won't be quick. Damage assessments have only just begun. Roads are broken, bridges cracked, drainage systems overwhelmed. The cost will be measured not just in dollars, but in time, sweat, and the emotional toll on families already struggling to get back to normal. Local officials stress the urgent need to upgrade stormwater infrastructure, revise development plans, and implement smarter zoning policies. Too many homes sit in flood zones that were once considered safe. Experts agree, this won't be the last flood of its kind. Climate patterns are changing. Storms are growing more intense, more frequent, and more unpredictable. If towns don't act now, don't invest in resilience, in preparation, in community education, this tragedy could repeat itself. Residents are being urged to build emergency kits, know their evacuation routes, and understand the dangers of even shallow floodwaters. 6 inches can take a car. 12 can sweep away a person. And beneath those muddy waters, debris, contamination, and hidden dangers. Still, amid the heartbreak, there was something else, a stubborn hope. Strangers became neighbors. Neighbors became heroes. People opened their doors, their wallets, their hearts. Volunteers cleaned streets side by side with emergency responders. Children played beside piles of debris, unaware of how close their families came to tragedy. The storm revealed our vulnerability, but it also revealed our strength, our resilience, our willingness to stand together when everything else falls apart. Recovery will take time, but recovery will come. As homes are rebuilt and power is restored, the deeper work begins, the work of making sure this doesn't happen again. We owe it to those who lost everything, to the children whose toys were carried away by the flood, to the elderly who had to be carried to safety, to the responders who didn't sleep for days. We owe it to ourselves. This was more than a storm. It was a warning. And now, it's up to all of us to listen.